We're talking about podcasts. We're talking about itty bitty podcast. A podcast.
Merry Mini Monday, Chunkies. I'm Carter.
I'm Doge.
And I'm Jordan.
I do love how I don't even try and intentionally do that, but we mute me so that we can get those harmonies and not throw off our timing. And they usually catch a little bit of a like right at the end.
Yeah, it do happen.
It do happen most time.
Most time.
Something else that do happen, I want to jump straight in. We don't normally do this. I promise it's not like a money grab type thing. Our Discord channel, I have found myself wanting more people there to experience something that I love. To experience
the ones
a community
we have
that
are
I
honestly just like
they're
6
phenomenal.
out of 10. Let's get some 10 out of 10.
Let's get
bring
some
up that
10s.
group average.
Let's get some 10s. There's a few that
Even some 9s. Even some 9s.
a 9 would be great.
They call it a 9. A 9.
We want to have more people over there because we are about to start Box Office Ball Season 3, among many things. Huh?
Finally.
Oh, they just said 5. I was like, did I miss a lot?
Yeah, we did 2 seasons.
And it is getting quite a few changes. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time post-ad break. If you're interested in Box Office Ball Season 3, running through some of the newness of that. Now, if you want the details and to join Box Office Ball for Season 3, it starts August 1st. So this episode releases the 25th. You have the rest of this week to jump in there and get into this league. We can have an infinite amount of people with the new setup, and so the more the merrier. But
Infinite, you say?
infinite. You could just keep going. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I want to talk Comic-Con. That's a huge deal for us individually and obviously just for this podcast. Outside of all of the fun comic book news, the toys, the video games, there's lots of movie news. And what's so fun, though, it felt like for a long time when I was younger, Comic-Con was more about video games. Doesn't it feel like that?
Are you thinking about E3?
You think about E3?
Is that E3? I remember
That's
E3.
There hasn't been an
Which
E3
was on
in
G4.
many moons.
Right? Was it E3 on
They
G4?
used to cover it on G4 all the time.
Okay.
Comic-Con has historically been
movies.
comics and movies. Yeah.
It's just pop culture in general. That's fine. That's fine. Popular culture. So I had a few things that I wanted to talk about specifically for the podcast. Sure. Y'all boys feel free to chime in. That feels all of our flavor, but maybe specifically more of y'all. The first thing I wanted to say, I think it's one of the biggest announcements. Don't let it get lost in the pile of all the other stuff. It seems like, and I read this, that there is no more Snyderverse. It's on the verge of official that the Snyderverse is over.
Did you see this week it came out that they discovered that an overwhelming majority of the accounts clamoring for release the Snyder Cut were bot accounts, fake accounts?
I read that there was about 25% of those accounts that they could not ascertain if they were bots or people.
Oh, okay.
So 75% of the people saying that were legitimate, flesh and blood.
Real Westworld vibes there.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
It's surprising. I found it very believable that no real people actually wanted that.
The Snyder Cut's not built for you.
Yeah.
I only know like one person in real life that was excited about it. So
yeah. So that's
Were
great.
they excited about it though?
I'm fine. How long do you think it would take before they gave that another shot? Before Warner Brothers was like, "Hey,
let's build a Justice League again." I think that's what they're. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're using the Flash to reset everything. And then the Leslie Grace Batgirl is going to be the first movie in their new universe.
Is it weird that they're still moving forward with this Flash project after how much of a
incredibly strange
Ezra Miller has become?
Incredibly strange.
Yeah. There's just so much weird. They're also still moving forward. Sony too. I know we're going to change subjects a little bit, but like I'm seeing all this stuff about like Madame Web. Like there's still people on the other side of the fence that are like, well, let's try. Morbius did really bad in theaters, and that's good.
Especially the second time.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny
Very
though?
bad.
Sony themselves are responsible for the best Spider-Man content of the last 20 years with the Spider-Man PS4 game and the follow-up Miles Morales, which is like some of the strongest Spider-Man we've gotten since.
And they're also into the Spider-Verse, right? So
it's just so funny how they can be the disconnect there of like
it's the teams, right?
Yeah, it has to be because you're giving us some of the best Spider-Man content ever, as well as some of the worst Spider-Verse, Marvel-verse content ever at the same time.
Yeah, really bad. Speaking of the Marvel-verse, I thought this was really interesting. So they're making real-life Infinity Stones, not real life meaning. It's funny, that's how the descriptor was. But it's like, you could kill half of the world if you wanted. It only cost you $25 million. But it's $25 million, like these precious gemstones that if you wanted, you could spend the $25 million and actually get all the Infinity Stones. That is so stupid, but that is so very much like the Capitol in Hunger Games. This is when you realize you have a franchise. This is when you realize like, hey, so I know that if we can get 10 people, and I bet 10 people buy this set, that's $250 million that people are just willing to spend. That's a movie.
You think 10 people are going to spend $25 million on Infinity Stones?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I feel like the MCU fandom is all over the place.
Yeah.
I just plenty of people that have that kind of money.
Publicity stunt that nobody was actually going to do it. It's just.
It's both. Yeah, it's both. It's fun that it's there.
Yeah.
But I bet we hear about that person that buys it.
I could see one.
Disney had a ton of announcements. Obviously, MCU counts as Disney announcements.
Sure.
How do you feel about National Treasure, Edge of History?
I'm hearing about this right now for the first time, actually.
So they're doing a show. Is it Berthal?
Yeah.
Berthal? No. Who's our guy that was in Gigli?
Justin Bartha.
Bartha. So Bartha is back with his character.
Back, baby.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is in this show. It's and then after that, it's a bunch of names that we don't know as well.
No word on if Nick Cage is going to be back.
I mean, it's surprising that he's not, right? With just, I finally saw Massive Talent. Very good.
Oh.
Yeah. Obviously worth a watch. So fun.
Very good. Okay.
So fun. But National Treasure is back. The reason I wanted to bring this up too is this has always been the MO for Disney. Even before streaming services, nothing really dies. It's so hard to find a one-off success that Disney has had. Now, if it dies, it's because it's like, hey, this is not appropriate anymore. Like literally not good for our culture. We need to kill it because we can't do this anymore. But it's just so funny to see those things keep popping up.
I'll probably dip in for episode 1 of National Treasure.
I think it's fun.
I'll check it out.
I think
see
it's
what
fun.
it's about.
And it was worth mentioning since we've done that movie for the podcast before. If you want to listen to that, go on back to National Treasure. We will always choose you over the Declaration of Independence, Chunkies.
Yeah,
promise you that.
That's very true.
Promise you that. D&D, Honor Among Thieves. Have you seen any of those like
trailer
teasers?
Trailer looks a little James Gunny. It looks like they were like, we can do Suicide Squad Guardians of the Galaxy.
It looks James Gunny and it looks kind of cheap.
Yeah. It looks cheap. It kind of works for me.
I think they're leaning comedy. Yeah. They're trying to do a bit of the 80s show, aren't they?
I don't know that it's 80s show so much as like everything I've read about it is like, we want this to feel like a game that you would play of an actual adventuring party that you and your friends might have, where it's like
fun.
None of you is a really like, you're not RPing like a very good person.
Yeah.
You just kind of happen to save the world and accidentally help somebody super evil. And now you have to undo it. Like, it looks super fun.
It does look fun. And amidst the names of like Chris Pine, Hugh Grant, Sophia Lillis, like for me, seeing that Michelle Rodriguez is in this, and I'm pretty sure she's playing the barbarian character.
I think she is. Yeah.
Is just like, you thought that she has been in her element in her career. This is it, though. This is the one.
Yeah.
This is the element.
I think they had me at the owl bear. The owl bear in the trailer looks fantastic.
It does look fantastic. And there's such an interesting thing that even with the density of how much like fantasy, sci-fi, superhero stuff there is in the world, for something to jump in and look like it's not necessarily taking itself super seriously is a breath of fresh air. And so I do think that's going to be really fun. And
and for it to be visually distinct. Like you get in and it does not look like we're trying to be Lord of the Rings or The Witcher. Like it looks like D&D.
I bet it's a 6, but I bet it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Agreed.
Yeah. If it's a movie that I want to watch with the two of you, it's a vibe, right? Like there's 100%. There's a handful that fall into that collection, but
I think it's going to hit the same way like Sonic did, where it's like, this is not a great movie, but it's Sonic. And that's
so far from necessary, but who cares?
Yeah. Right.
I love that. Was there anything else with Comic-Con news that stood out to you boys?
Yes.
Tell me.
I believe it was attached to Comic-Con. The trailer I saw mentioned Comic-Con, so I don't know. But John Wick 4 got its first teaser.
Ooh, I saw the image. I didn't see the teaser.
Yeah, I watched the teaser this morning.
Cool.
It's only about a minute long, but any John Wick is good John Wick. I'm convinced of it.
It's so
when the
crazy.
first John Wick came out, I was like, dang, that was awesome. And then when the trailer for the second one dropped, I was like, man, I hope they keep. It's the worst thing John Wick has done is a lateral move. It's been just as good as the last one, if not better.
Yeah.
It's so impressive. So
it almost feels like
amazing.
It's doing infinitely better what the Bourne series tried to do.
100%.
Yeah.
I have not seen a full installment of that entire series. I haven't even seen all of the first one. Isn't that wild?
Whoa.
It happens. So good.
I know.
Whoa. Hey, and we have to do this on the show then. Let's do this on the pod.
Let's definitely.
I think we should. Yeah. Well, we've been flirting with a Keanu series for I think literally years. When the podcast has been around long enough, you do get to say like, "Oh, that was years ago."
Yeah.
I mean, we're 5 years away from saying that was a decade ago. That's the most Carter thing to say in the world. Chelsea makes fun of me so much for that.
5 years away.
Like when it was leading up to our wedding, I would be like, "Ben, it's our last Monday of not being married." She's like, "What is this? What is this?" I'm just trying to soak up every single moment.
I just realized, Carter, that you are Leslie Knope.
Yeah.
I just realized now in this moment that you're Leslie Knope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I also look at time different. I was saying like my career right now almost has a license, like a driver's license. So I'm like, oh, wow. My career's brain is growing.
Pretty soon, my career's going to be able to watch a rated R movie with the presence of a parental guardian. That's crazy.
Maybe.
I can't believe it.
Not many people get to a point where their career can rent a car, but could happen.
Yeah.
Could happen. MCU probably had its biggest collection of animated stuff. And that was pretty exciting.
Biggest collection of little announcements, I think.
Tiny little babies. Little tiny ones.
It's because they have nothing planned.
Okay, this is editing Doge here. This is not podcasting Doge. I'm recording this part a couple of days after we recorded this episode. And in that time, Marvel pulled a little bit of a fast one on us, and they announced a whole bunch of stuff after we'd already finished recording this episode. That's probably pretty clear to you if you listen to the rest of this conversation, but just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there.
Did y'all realize the Wakanda Forever movie is this year?
Yeah, it's September.
No, I did not.
September? No, it's November. It's November.
Yeah. It's November, and we have zero trailer for that.
Nothing.
The last time I think we felt like that was No Way Home, but that made more sense because they had some stuff to...
The Love and Thunder trailer actually holds the MCU record for shortest distance between first trailer premiere and movie premiere.
You know why it doesn't feel like that? Because the MCU has never stopped.
Yeah.
It is all of the things all the time. That's absolutely wild.
I think MCU is saving their big boy stuff for the Disney Plus day. Whatever that is.
I hope so.
Like
because
in November.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm starting to get pretty nervous about the MCU.
Really?
I had a big old come to grips with like, hey, maybe the Infinity Saga is the good one. And maybe now it's just like, okay, it kind of lost me after that.
Maybe. Yeah. There's heavy rumors of a new, very significant big bad being introduced in Wakanda Forever. Which is great.
Cool. They did that in Loki too. And we haven't seen nor heard anything from them since. So, it sounds great, but prove it.
Yeah.
We'll see. And the MCU is, I mean, no pun intended, like it kind of throws time off a little bit, like in how we look at movie series, because we do get entire collections and it's their fault. They're calling it phases, right? There's never been, from what I can remember, any other movie franchise that calls things phases. And so it's one thing to be like, compare Nope to Get Out, because it's three things that Jordan Peele's done. It's another thing to be like, well, this 15 feels different.
Yeah, right.
This group of 10 movies is different than the last group of 10 movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that Discord for you on that $5 tier affords you is the opportunity to do things like to put our chunky stamp on, just kind of making our call as to, as a community, what we think maybe someone's going to be casted as, a movie that we think will come out. I had fun with this, and I think we should do this again. But I want to read to you guys. I'm going to reveal to you who gets the chunky stamp of approval.
Yeah. I don't know I don't know the winners.
I haven't looked either.
For our new X-Men. And so, spoiler really quick, I'm going to give you a little bit of chance to go get some coffee or something. Keep it running, turn it down a little bit. Maybe just kind of put that volume down. Scrub forward about a minute on your app when you're driving. What if I tried to knock out every scenario? That would take like 15 minutes.
If you poop in, but your phone's on the other side of the bathroom.
Kick it away.
I give it. You've got enough time. At the end of Miss Marvel, massive, not even a tease. I don't even think we call that a tease. It was a firmly, hey, we're going to go into the mutant world now. Here come the X-Men. We get that 1997 drop that fun little riff from the cartoon show. And so we decided to cast our top X-Men here. Now, there's one X-Man that was already cast because we were unanimous. So let us not forget. Do you want to let them know which one that was?
It is Cyclops, Joe Keery.
Cyclops.
That one's locked and loaded. That one's just happening.
It's just done, It's just done. But here's the rest. We start with Wolverine. 64% of the vote for Wolverine went to Taron Egerton.
Sure.
Not surprised. 35% for Jared Kiso, which I think is fun because he feels a little niche.
I honestly think that people who don't get amped about Jared Kiso just haven't watched Letterkenny. I think if you've watched Letterkenny, you will see what I'm talking about, that he completely has it in the bag and would be perfect. Yeah. But Taron Egerton would obviously crush that role. So that's fine.
Yep. We had 4, even though there's 3 hosts, a handful of these have 4 options because some people got to use the multiverse and go back and just make several recommendations. 47% equals a win in this situation. Our Professor X for the chunkdom is Mark Strong. I think that's great.
Cool.
Second place was Sterling K. Brown at 29%. And then just under that at 23% was Denzel Washington. And in the shadow of his father with nothing was John Davis sitting down there. So Mark Strong as our Professor X. Now let's start to put these images together, right? Like all these things are popping up.
Yep.
Who we have. Here's our Professor X. Taron Egerton walks in.
Taron Egerton, I'm watching Blackbird right now.
Yeah.
That man is chiseled like a superhero this moment. Like,
oh, great.
His several scenes of him like working out in prison and his body legitimately looks like it came off of a comic book page. It's pretty insane.
Phenomenal.
I definitely identify with that.
There is, what's funny too is like, I think there's been a couple times to where things haven't been announced yet, but people are getting ripped. And you're like, wait, why are you doing that?
What are you getting ripped for?
Wait, hang on.
Sometimes
Chris
the body
Pratt, why aren't you chubby anymore?
Yeah, right.
Like, wow.
Seems like a matter of time, TBH.
You don't look like Dwyer anymore. Your name doesn't match your body.
Yeah, you're Andrew now.
Our Magneto, with 52% of the vote, was Jason Isaacs. So that's pretty exciting. A Mark Strong opposite Jason Isaacs makes sense to me. I'm totally down for that. Giancarlo Esposito was second place there with 29%.
Man, I do love Giancarlo.
Daniel Craig at 17%, which I think that was fun too. And then the chunkdom said, "You're a wizard, Harry, and you'll stay that way." 0% for Daniel Radcliffe.
You know what's difficult about casting a modern day Magneto is that his backstory.
He's a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, his backstory is really, really, really important.
Yeah.
So I think you would have to do some sort of like time travel funkiness because I think he has to be a Holocaust survivor to really understand his psyche and like why he does the things that he does.
Yep. And I don't know how much it's stepping on toes, but it needs to be some kind of, if it's not Holocaust survivor, it needs to be overcoming some great persecution. Like, I think we could have it be all sorts of things, but it definitely makes most sense to go canon in that way. Jean Grey.
I'm not trying to undo things we've already done, and I don't want to throw a wrench into it already, but I did, the second we wrapped recording that episode, I did think about Charlton Copley and how fun he would be as Magneto.
What is he from?
District 9.
District 9.
Oh, he's in that new movie. I saw that trailer with Idris Elba.
Beast. Yeah.
It took me a minute to recognize him.
Yeah.
Idris is pretty busy right now.
He is.
Just a busy boy.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. Our Jean Grey, for those of us across the pond, it'd be Jean Grey. But our Jean Grey at 58% makes a lot of sense. Jordan, I think this was your recommendation. No, I think it was Doge. Who said Shursa?
I did.
Jordan. Very good. Massive. This was one of the biggest gaps here, and it made sense. Everyone got votes. 29% was Anya Taylor-Joy, and then Hunter Schafer at 11%.
Saoirse is beginning to feel inevitable in the MCU to me as well.
Yeah,
she's right in that age range that they want to gobble up. So
I think her more than Timmy. And it feels like Denis has Timmy locked down.
Yeah, dude.
And we'll do a little bit of announcement on Dune 2 has started filming, and so I've got some exciting news on who we're adding to the mix there. That literally that's like, it's like Denis knows us and listens to this podcast, the people that he's casting in this series.
Mm-hmm. So I think he listens. We've talked about this. I think he listens.
Yeah, Shursa for Jean Grey. Storm.
I don't think you've ever said her name right. Ever one time.
Saoirse.
Yeah. Zoe Kravitz for Storm at 41%.
Cool. Fair enough.
Regina King at 29%. 23% Kiki Palmer. There's a lot of good options for Storm out there. Kiki Palmer, we'll talk about her tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll talk about her tomorrow.
And then Amandla. Boy, her name unfortunately looks like a mistype. Amandla Stenberg.
Amandla was just cast in The Acolyte as the lead in the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte. That's like the Old Republic show.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's never bad to do something for Disney. Nightcrawler, 76%.
Whoa.
Old Joey Quinn.
Sure.
Cool.
And then Saoirse Ronan was in second place. Asa Butterfield got 1. There's something about seeing 5.88% by the name Asa Butterfield that makes sense. It just feels like it fits. It's almost like if you just came up short, you Butterfielded. Who should play Beast? I actually love this, and this was Doge. Doge, were you Dev Patel?
I sure was.
It makes so much sense, dude. 47% Dev is our Beast.
That voice is perfection.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Beast doesn't necessarily, in his human form, have to be super
He doesn't have to
ripped,
be big. Yeah.
right? He gets to be a Bruce Banner-like character.
Yeah, I think when I suggested Skarsgård, I was picturing it as some sort of like almost practical effect for Beast.
Same.
To let him be huge.
Because that's literally a carbon copy because we both Skarsgårded there.
Yep.
Skarsgård your hearts. They didn't make it. Our Iceman, another kind of ran away with it, was my recommendation of Austin Butler at 64% for Iceman. Cool. Austin Butler in Dune 2, along with the addition of Florence Pugh.
Really? I didn't know he was in it.
He's playing Ratha, like the warrior.
Prince.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Cool.
Very good. Yeah, someone's got to, Austin Butler is on that heat right now in Hollywood that if you're going to put him in a franchise, you need to move quick.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have time to have, we read all the time these trivias from everything, all of the MCU stuff, even things like Lord of the Rings, to where it's like blank couldn't do it because they were working on blank. Yeah. And most of the time, that's not usually the choice not to jump in on that heat is not good.
From what I have read about him, Denis is one of the Hollywood names that if he calls, you just say, tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what time to be
I think
there.
a lot of people like to work with him too.
Him and Nolan and
he's in the sports world what we would call a player's coach.
Yeah, big time. That's why Jake loves him so much. That's what they talk about a lot. But I was watching something about Dune 2, just sort of discussing it recently, and I saw it's a guy on TikTok that does movie stuff that I really, really love. He's brilliant. But he was just talking about how Dune 2 has the potential to be the Two Towers of the Dune series, which is better than 1, but retroactively makes 1 even better because now that you've seen what it was building to, you can look at all the blocks and go, oh my gosh, it's brilliant. Yep. It's so good.
Yeah, it's such good Two Chunks energy today. Like, breathe in that clean air to know, A, Snyderverse is dead. B, Dune universe is alive and well.
Guys, baby.
The Duneverse is great. We were so nervous, y'all. Do you remember that? Yeah. I'm feeling the anxiety of remembering how anxious we were. But they're in. If they're doing 2, they can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
So exciting. Our Gambit was the closest vote. There wasn't anyone with less than 23% of the vote out of 3 representations here. And we had 1 vote difference, with the winner being my shot at Miles Teller.
Sure,
so
cool.
Miles Teller as Gambit. Matt McConaughey was second place there because it does, people want it.
I'm telling you, man, even if he doesn't get cast as Gambit, he's Gambit.
I think where I'm at is I would love us to save Miles Teller for a future Fantastic Four movie, maybe a future Foundation movie.
You know, that movie wasn't it wasn't that bad.
I would love to bring him back as that Reed Richards for our multiversal council of Reeds. We can have our new Reed for the MCU. We can have Krasinski. We can have Ion Grafode, whatever his name is from the old Fantastic Fours, and Miles Teller, and have our multiversal council of Reeds.
That's amazing. That'd be so fun.
I'm in 100% on that.
Our X-Men, here it is in its entirety. Taron Egerton as Wolverine. Mark Strong as Professor X, Jason Isaacs as Magneto, Saoirse Ronan as Jean Grey, Zoe Kravitz as Storm. Can you imagine Saoirse and Zoe sharing a screen?
Yeah.
Same.
Powerful.
Every day. Joseph Quinn as Nightcrawler. Joseph Quinn is one of those people that you meet one day and you want to start calling them by a nickname.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Joey Q. Joey Q.
Joey Q. What's up, JQ? As Nightcrawler. Dev Patel as Beast. Austin Butler as Iceman. Miles Teller as Gambit. When you say them all together like that.
Did we hit Joe Curious Cyclops? Did you skip that one because it was already a shoe-in?
Sorry, Joe Curious Cyclops, which only makes all that stuff better.
Now, I'll tell you this. Dev Patel as Beast is beginning to feel like an inspired choice to me the more that I'm sitting
Thank you
in
very
reflection.
much.
I think that's my favorite because it simultaneously felt out of nowhere and just right.
Just so
much
good.
like these ads.
At Progressive, we know there's nothing like the feeling of riding your motorcycle with your buddies on the open road. It's a potent cocktail of thrills, laughter, and pure adrenaline. A feeling that would be impossible to recreate on the radio. Until now. Hit it, sound effects guy.
I'm real proud of you, son.
Wow, that was terrible. Our apologies for even trying. Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
We're back from the ads. I want to spend about 2 or 3 minutes because I want to have several avenues, those that are already in our Discord for that top tier that can play, that have the access to play box office ball with us. I want you to have several opportunities to learn how this is going to go because it is completely new. Consider this a concise teaser as to the new vibe of box office ball. The first
it's a
big
new
thing,
game. Whereas like the first time we did box office ball together, it was basketball. This is slam ball now.
This is slam ball now. We got trampolines.
Very good.
More chance for injury. High risk. Also, I'm going to just say I don't think it'll be premature because of the rise of Gru. Doge, who was in first and felt that sweet taste of victory for the first time, got bumped down to fifth.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me just say how unbelievably poetic that it's Minions that killed me.
Yeah. You got baboyed, bro. You got straight baboyed down to fifth place. I do believe it's going to go to Shelly. Shout out to Shelly. That's that username. Shelly, is it Shelly Nor or is it just Shelly on Discord?
Shelly Nor.
Shelly Nor.
You know what? I hate Minions.
And they beat you.
Dude, and you know what?
They beat all of us.
You know what they would say to that? Banana.
Banana, dude.
Bro,
banana.
Dude,
it was
bro,
bananas.
you don't understand. They say banana. It's so funny, bro.
They
Banana,
also
bro.
nobody cares who has them trying to sponsor their product or everyone's like, it's fine. I understand Liberty Mutual. You can have them. We can have them over here for our cereal too. Anyways, Minions win. Season 3, one of the biggest things about Season 3 is
Siminion Toast Crunch. Why have they not done
Siminion Toast Crunch. Siminion Toast Crunch.
Why has that not happened?
It's fun to say.
It is.
Doge, can you say it before we move on?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I can't.
It is not, it's about the money, but it's not about the money anymore. You cannot win with a massive purse of $3.5 million. What we're doing now is you can maximize at 50 points for an entire season. The series starts August 1 and ends at the end of December. So we go a month-by-month basis. There is no longer a draft, which is a huge thing. That's why I say an infinite amount of people can be playing box office ball
so
for Season 3.
Not a draft anymore.
There is an anonymous lock-in before the beginning of the next month. You can lock in really at any time, but I think that's a little risky to call your shot like that. Here's the thing. The reason that it makes it a little bit more dynamic is maybe if you had drafted in the past someone involved, maybe you didn't have anyone involved with Top Gun Maverick. Now you get to say, you know what, I might not have had them for the month of August. I'm going to go in there and sweep up September because I think I'll get some points there. Here's how you get your points. We're not worldwide anymore. So we can't have these releases that are only in China, which is huge though. That's so fun. Yeah. We had some really, really clever players. It didn't necessarily pay off in the end, but
they didn't have Minions, I guess.
Because you didn't have Minions. But what we're going to do is go domestic because domestic statistically has a lot more stuff that we can follow. There's a top 10 every month domestically on highest grossing. Now, obviously, there's a top 100 or however many movies that are being released that month. But if you make it in the top 10, you get to lock in points. So if you had the 10th highest grossing movie of that month, you only get 1 point. Because if you had the most, you would get 10. So
it's Taskmaster
here's some of the
rules.
strategy. It's some Taskmaster rules. Here's some of the strategy, though, is listen, if you feel like you've already used that high grossing movie, it doesn't let you, if you use a movie once, you can't use it again. So you're trying to catch it at its hottest point. So what if you have a mid-month release? I don't know. Do you feel like it's going to gain more momentum in the entirety of a month being in theaters or that first 2 weeks? Because the first 2 weeks are pretty massive. Opening weekend box office kind of lets you know what's going to happen with that movie. So it gets tricky because you could try and get somebody who's in 2 different movies. So maybe you can get more than 10 points in a month. Does that make sense? So if somebody had the 3rd highest release and the 4th highest release, all of a sudden now you have 13 points that you got out of that month. So 50 isn't necessarily the max. Is there anything else that's worth explaining right now that you feel like was a big point to that? It's an anonymous lock-in. So you can so Jordan and Doge could both get Zoe Saldana for Avatar 2. Yeah. Right? That's totally fine. That just means neither of them can use her again, and neither of them can use Avatar again.
Right.
Right. And so another big thing is I am not going to participate this year. I won't be a team member because I think it would be unfair for me to get all of these anonymous names and then do my strategy based off of what you guys do. Yeah. So that's not what I'm going to do, which actually gives me a lot more bandwidth to be in control of putting in those points and updating that. The best thing about Box Office Ball Season 3 is it's highly dynamic. What we used to do is just draft and sit on it and just hope fun things happen. Now you get to be a little bit more strategic. If you've got to shoot your shot and go for a movie that you think will make more money and you think other people don't feel the same, you just shoot your shot and hope that you get more points that month. Cool? You all excited?
I love it.
I'm so pumped.
Doge is back for revenge.
I'm ready. Yeah.
And Jordan's, I feel like Jordan's just got the energy. He's gonna come out and win and never lose again. That's what it feels like.
As long as we still get to name our teams.
Yeah, absolutely. You can name your teams. You can inherit the teams of the names of old.
Yeah.
You're welcome to do that too.
Like our forefathers would have wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just like a forefather.
I think you have to go back to like authorial intent. Like what did they mean when they wrote down the name of the box office ball team?
Yeah. Yeah. To end today's episode, I want to mix in a teaser for our next series, if that's okay with y'all.
Sure.
Love it.
Via the avenue of Synops-Us.
Excellent.
Synops-Us. It's been a while since we've played this. So if you need a refresher, Synops-Us is just really, it's about family. It's about working together. Yeah. You can't have one without the other. You can't survive without both. And so Doge and Jordan will play this together and do a word for word, bouncing back and forth like a pickleball match. My life is pickleball right now, and I'm cool with it. My knees hurt real bad. I'm realizing the true extent as to what my 33-year-old body can do anymore. It's fun and it's not.
Yeah.
But they're going to bounce back and forth and try and create a synopsis that is closest to the IMDb top synopsis. Synops-Us. No, that sounds like a disease. The top synopsis.
Yeah.
On IMDb. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Love it.
Our next series, here's the announcement. Actually, do we want the chunkies to kind of see what the theme is?
Yeah, let's not say what the series is.
Okay, so
I think let's not even say what it is. Let's say what it is tomorrow. And we just got some movies that we're synopsising today.
Okay, perfect. The first movie I have for you is Snowpiercer. We need to get that synopsis for Snowpiercer. Fun way that we jump into this, though, is I give you guys how many like proper names we got in here?
Yeah, we get to guess. And do you say how many capitalized nouns or how many names?
Let's do capitalized nouns. 1.
I think we're supposed to guess.
Yeah, we guess. We usually guess. And then that lets us know who goes first.
I was counting you down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, guess.
Great. I'm going to guess 1.
Great. I'm going to guess 2.
It's 1. Jordan got that one.
Okay.
So it is 1.
Dang it. I got Minion again.
I think the only proper name is Snowpiercer.
Jordan, you start us off.
Is that who Chris Evans plays?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
While
the
globe
is
freezing,
passengers
aboard
the
Snowpiercer.
And it is just one sentence.
Struggle
through
the
cars
to
Man, we're not on the same wavelength today.
No, we're not.
Fight
against
their
oppressors.
Yeah, that'll work.
Period.
It was really trying to steer us towards like class warfare or something. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out.
I was going to say struggle against the bonds of their oppressors.
Oh, nice.
So. I think it's going to sound better than y'all think it is. I don't think he's who you think he is. While the globe is freezing, passengers aboard the Snowpiercer struggle through the cars to fight against their oppressors.
It's actually not bad.
Pretty solid.
Our actual synopsis.
Written at about a 4th grade level, but it's okay.
Our actual oppressors? Maybe. Our actual synopsis is, in a future where a failed climate change, okay, we feel pretty, you said the world was freezing.
In a future.
One man. In a future where a failed climate change experiment has killed all life except for the survivors who boarded the Snowpiercer, parentheses, a train that travels around the globe.
Oh, so it's a run-on sentence.
A new class system emerges.
That's not bad, actually.
That's honestly one of the closest y'all have ever been.
Yeah.
The next movie is Bullet Train.
Huh. Considering
the new
it's
release
not
coming
out,
out.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But let's give it a shot.
That makes the game fun, though. Bullet Train. How many of them capitalized?
0.
I was going to say 0, so I'll say 1.
It is 0. Doge, start us off.
An
assassin
boards
a
bullet
train
for
a
final
showdown.
Did I hear a period there?
Period.
Oh, okay.
An assassin boards a bullet train for a final showdown.
I think they're going to keep it under wraps.
I was prepared to go much longer on that, but
finish it yourself.
No.
Give us the director's cut of that synopsis.
No.
The actual synopsis: 5 assassins.
Dang it.
Aboard a fast-moving
5 bullet trains.
5 assassins
5 showdowns.
5 assassins aboard a fast-moving bullet train find out their missions have something in common.
Love.
I'm even more in on this movie after hearing the official synopsis.
It looks like so much fun.
It looks like a blast.
And the cast is just, when a cast, you would never have pictured all of them together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But then you see the trailer and you're like, huh.
Look, if you give me Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and why can't I think of his name? Paperboy from Atlanta.
Brian Tyree
Henry in one movie. Yeah. I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And isn't it Sandy? Isn't Sandy in this?
Sandy.
I'm
Sandy
a big
Bully's
Sandy
in it too.
head,
Yeah.
You know?
Sandy Bully's in there. She was supposed to be a part of my box office ball. That's like the only movie that was moved back. Whatever.
You got The Lost City though, huh?
Yeah.
She was in that for you.
Emphasis on the lost. Train to Busan.
Yep.
Train to Busan. How many capitalized nouns in here?
You know, I hope it's only 1.
It's 1. I'm going to go 0 just to mix it up.
4.
Oh, no.
Who said 1?
That would be your boy.
I've never seen this movie.
I've also never seen this movie. Weird. Hey, let's a gentleman's agreement. We know there's 4. We can only include 1 in this synopsis.
No, I'm not just going to.
Can I help you though? What if
names.
it's all location?
That doesn't help. I don't know. Okay. I don't know my geography.
Okay.
You know?
So it would be like, I think here's the 4. Ready? South Korea, Seoul, Busan.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Doge, start us off.
Survivors.
Aboard
a
train
travel
from
Seoul,
South
Korea
to
Busan
while
escaping
and
thriving.
Sure. against
against
a
horde
of
zombies.
Zombie.
It was thriving and what?
Surviving and thriving, I believe, is what it was. No. No. What was the first word? Carter, you got to be better. You got one thing to do during this game.
It was like a real sentence. I felt like I was in court.
Yeah. Stenograph me.
Escaping? Was it escaping and thriving?
Yeah.
I was going for fighting there, by the way. Because I think escaping they are less escaping thriving. And more fighting.
I think they're loving it. I think they're thriving.
They're living their best lives on board this train.
Against a what? Horde?
Horde? Mm-hmm.
A horde.
Horde of zombies.
A zombies.
Horde of zombies.
Against a horde of zombies.
They are all 50 years old.
Mr. Potter.
Survivors aboard a train travel from Seoul, South Korea to Busan while escaping and thriving against a horde of zombies.
It's like really rejuvenating for them.
It's like,
yay! While a zombie virus breaks out in South Korea, passengers struggle to survive on the train from Seoul to Busan. Phenomenal.
That was a good synopsis, baby.
The geography boys.
Phenomenal. And if you can tell, the theme for our next series is stay-at-home dads. It'll be revealed tomorrow.
We're watching Mr. Mom.
To end today's episode, I want you to put a movie assassin, so one that we've experienced before, that you think would hold their own the best on the bullet train.
Ooh.
Okay.
Can we take Wick off the table just because, like, obviously?
No Wick. Putting John Wick in this is like putting Batman in a superhero fight.
Yeah.
It's like, with enough preparation, John Wick could beat every assassin.
With enough. Yeah. Do they have to be called an assassin? They have to be called an assassin in their movie world?
You made it up, so.
You said it's your rules, your game.
I'm Carter. Boba Fett.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Where he's like, and he'll be like, I intend to assassinate with respect.
With respect. Assassinate.
Jabba assassinated with hate.
It's very good.
It is very good.
I'm thinking.
Aren't we all?
Not always. I'm Doge, and Liam Neeson's is.
Yes.
You pick. You choose. That's fine. You choose. Either
it's just Liam Neeson.
Either Tukin or Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's is an actual assassin. Yeah. But he's basically an assassin.
I would argue that his character
they all have a
is the
skills.
complete opposite of an assassin. Whatever an anti-assassin, like a protector.
He's an unsassin.
He unassassinates people.
Nunsassin. What an awful.
Hey, delete that. Let's make that movie.
Yeah.
Nunsassin. N-U-N. Looks like someone's back in the habit of murder.
Of nunsassinating people.
Yeah, mine is also not a traditional assassin, although I think
if you loved doubt and the sound of music.
From the creators of Sister Act and No Country for Old Men.
Father, forgive me. For
There's the
I
one
have
person we don't know who's been working with the Coens. I did Sister, or unless that's a Sister Act.
Yeah. So my answer, not a traditional assassin, but I think we'll all agree this person should be on this train. It's Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
Oof. Yeah. Does he have his little cow killer?
Dude, that's the thing is that I think people get so hung up on that cow killer that they don't realize he could probably just do it with anything he finds.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cows
he
are
definitely
easy to
has
kill.
The cow killer.
The first time I saw that movie, I fully anticipated him killing someone with that quarter he kept flipping.
Yeah.
Just like bullseye, just throw it through somebody's head.
Just make him choke on
and
it.
then just like headbutts it.
Yeah, like it falls out of a spaceship and goes through somebody's eye.
In that Ben Affleck movie, doesn't Colin Farrell's bullseye make somebody choke to death on a plane with a peanut? Am I thinking?
I think so.
Am I incorrect?
I think you're right. I think I remember that.
Good Lord.
Movies, man. It's crazy.
Movies. They could transport.
That's our go-to if we
movies, man.
didn't have a good end. We're like, hey, movies,
man.
Dude, what about movies?
That's crazy.
All right, I'm
stopping my recording.
At Progressive, we know there's nothing like the feeling of riding your motorcycle with your buddies on the open road. It's a potent cocktail of thrills, laughter, and pure adrenaline. A feeling that would be impossible to recreate on the radio. Until now. Hit it, sound effects guy.
I'm real proud of you, son.
Wow, that was terrible. Our apologies for even trying. Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.